Click on that. Welcome to the PARAcast. I'm your host, Tomas the Boss Fernandez, joining you from my basement. And these speakers right here, these Paige and I and Michael, we went to Best Buy, and we are like, you know what? It's wired for 5.1 surround sound. Let's go look at a receiver. And maybe we'll get a bass woofer and a center speaker, and we'll wire this thing for 5.1 surround sound. Do you know that whole entire technology segment is dead?
Oh yeah, horribly.
Oh,
It's completely gone.
it's so far gone. Like we went into Best. Well, let me introduce the voices. This is bad
at
hosting.
the consumer level, it is right. But when you get into like some of that bougie home theater stuff, like millions of dollars,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me! But they will spend it.
For the 5th year in a row, his New Year's resolution is to finally see the doctor about that thing he calls the super hernia. It's Robert Wyatt.
No, I learned a long time ago. You don't have problems if you never go to the doctor.
That's correct. It's
I mean,
like the
statistically, if you want to live long life, never go to the hospital.
Just get Crisco and push it back in. You'll be fine.
It seems legit.
and then put like a playing card. You tilt the playing card on its side, and then you just kind of slide it in, and then lay it across. Boom, you're perfectly fine.
Get some Flex Seal, slap it on that bitch.
That probably, you know what? When you look up operations, you're like, oh, this is what the doctor thinks he could use to go into my body and fix it. And then you look at it, it's like, is that wire mesh? Are they just putting wire mesh in my skin to block something and then stitching it up? And then you're just like, that's what they're doing.
Spackle?
That's what they're doing for 6,000. Oh,
a drywall patch?
Paige and I looked up celebrities whose lives were ruined by plastic surgery, and a lot of them went cheap and went down to Mexico and then got
Did it
filled.
just start like at the top with A and go all the way to Z and then just sum it up and say TLDR, all of them?
Well, some of these are really rough because in Mexico, they would inject people with like these medical grade fillers. They're actually expensive, but you know what's not expensive? Is getting like canola oil or concrete and then implanting that under somebody's facial structure or in their breast tissue and then being like, yeah, and then these people just look absolutely messed up. But anyways, yeah, there's a lot of that stuff. I was looking at something for my back, and they were like, oh, yeah, and I was just thinking, I was like, oh, so there's probably going to be some innovative thing. And they're like, oh, no, it's like 2 pieces of medical-grade plastic with a medical-grade spring that supports one side of your body. So it's literally, remember those spring shoes you wanted as a kid where you would like jump onto the pogo shoes? It's essentially that. Like there's nothing great. It's a $3.50 part they can throw in you. It's ridiculous. Anyways, also joining me tonight, add one more dictator he can't bodyguard for anymore. It's Jared Stepp.
No. But there's good money in standing there and doing nothing.
Oh, yeah, yeah. That would be...
Back to the Taylorsville Walmart for Jared.
No. Anywhere but there.
They said he was in a safe room and that they brought, like, saws and explosives to, like, blow in that safe room or whatever like that. Like, most likely he agreed to be taken out, and this was like the show of force, so he wouldn't get Gaddafi'd. Muammar didn't take any sort of deal, and he decided that he was going to get a sword up the butt till he died, and not the best way. And so Maduro chose exile, as all the greats do. But anyway, I was just thinking about that. It's like you're in the safe room and you're like, you know that they're going to come in and get you. And then you're just like, man, I really don't want to be inside this steel and concrete little dome while someone's blowing the door open.
Yeah. Could you imagine them breaching that? Just the concussion alone of them trying to do that. That would suck.
I've been the bad guy when you're facing off a whole SWAT team. And we've gotten to do a bunch of the force-on-force stuff. And especially once, like, if it's daytime, you're like, I can take some of them down. And then once they turn off the lights and it's nighttime, and they have night vision and you don't, and you're just like, this is fucking gay. This isn't fair. This isn't fair at all. Like one of the times I did it, it was pitch black, and I just gave up because I'm like, no, I can't even. This is bullshit. I don't want to just get shot a whole lot with sim guns. It's gonna hurt. I don't want to do this. This is because you just there's no winning there. There's no winning there, and I can't even imagine like a full team, like 20, 30, 40 dudes, all Delta dudes coming in. You can't do anything. Even if you manage to get one shot off or two shots off,
you're done.
You don't win. There's nothing to be done except just sit down and say, this is some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if any of the bodyguard personnel, like we don't know how many opposing force people were killed, but it would be interesting to kind of like be like, oh, no opposing force people were killed. It'd be just like, the Delta Force lands. It'd be honor to meet you. No, that's the false hiding room. Like, this is the real hiding room down here. All right, guys, big fans. Love what you guys do.
Have a pineapple, take a papaya.
Here's a gold
Come back soon.
Here's a gold-plated Tokarev. I want you guys to have this as a war trophy. Thank you. God bless. Remember McGill.
Write about me in your book. Here's a photo.
Yeah, here's a photo.
Delta doesn't do that. It's the SEALs that do that.
Delta stays quiet for most of.
Delta's what we call the quiet professionals.
And even when they come out of it, there's not a bunch of war stories that get sat there and get told over.
Yeah,
and over
yeah.
again.
Mark Wahlberg's never going to be doing a Delta operator.
Yep. Probably not. Anyway, all our favorite Delta operators is of course Eric Bana from Black Hawk Down. Once and Forever. Still one of the greatest movies. Eric Bana, Black Hawk Down.
Yeah.
Yes, Hoot. Yeah. Hoot. This is my safety. Even though it's a non-drop safe AR-15, that's still not good. Anyways, what I did this week is me and Mr. Alex Coco we went out to the farm, and I sat there and I took this Beretta 92 Brigadier, and I took off the front side and replaced it with a Dawson Precision 140 tall by 110 wide fiber. And then once I put that on, I went to work, and it was my birthday. And I went to work, and Paige, my lovely wife, came and met me for dinner. We went out to dinner, and she handed me a present, and I said...
In the back of a UPS truck.
Well, see, we were in the back of a Armada truck, and then we would have gotten into a tractor. But anyway, so she hands me a package, and I open it up, and what's inside the package? Another Dawson Precision Beretta Brigadier front sight, 140, 110 tall, 140 tall by 110 wide. So she got me.
Oh damn! I'd keep that girl.
Yeah, I got duplicate sights, so I can put it on another gun.
Fundamentally, what that means is you now need to buy another Beretta.
This would be a complete waste, and I'd have to buy another Brigadier slide, which means I'd probably have to get an Inox model just so I can have that stainless look, so I can two-tone them. Swap parts back and forth.
It's the natural evolution, honestly.
Yeah, it's like when you get when you win a free red dot at a competition, and then you're just like, I don't have any place to put this, and you can't just have it sitting. You can't have it sitting, so you need to find it. Even if it's a $300 CZP-10, you got to go buy one. So, anyways, I got these LPA.
I literally have three sights or optics just sitting around doing nothing.
Yeah,
I'll take them back from you if you want.
That's a waste.
That's a big negatory there, big buddy.
Yeah. So I went out there, zeroed at 20 yards. I had this ammunition, and I have my styrofoam, polymer, nylon kind of rest, which has been fantastic. It's been way better than any other rest I've ever used. Set it on a steel table, fired 3 rounds at 20 yards, and I walked. I fire the shot, and I'm like, on a fresh piece of silhouette paper that I glued some B8s to, and I see in the delta zone a bullet hole, and I'm like, that was from a rest with a controlled press. This is not great. And then I look at the other two. It's like, one's pretty close, and another one's pretty close. That one that's like 8 inches off, that is probably was me.
It was Alex.
I will go back. And then I do it again.
Alex is behind, firing with the suppressor.
And then I go. This was kind of one of the fun things that you thought about doing. Like, you would have like those Mag 80s and Mag 40s, as Masada U group classes, and you shoot your classifier at the end. And the fun thing was always that you could do to your friend to completely screw up their score on one of the strings of fire, because everyone's just trying to keep it all in the A zone or in the down zero, is to aim over to your friend's target and just click off a shot, right in the delta, and then like go back and then fire an extra round on your target. That would be the best. But anyway, so I fire another group.
No wonder Carl and Stan don't talk to you anymore.
We go, and I shoot another group, and then I walk down there, and it's like, oh, there's 2 flyers now. And then so I sit there, and I like do my best, and Alex shows up, and I get some of his ammo, and I take some of these 140 grain XTPs that I have, and I shoot those, and those are printing very small groups. So I'm now sitting here with another 1,000 rounds loaded of the stuff that's not grouping in the Brutta. Then I go grab the USP and the P30, and they are grouping somewhat better, but it's still not a fantastic grouping. And so I'm very happy I didn't have all my primer tubes last week, because I just would have said, hey, 4.6 grains of tight group on these bullets, that's enough. I think these ones came down so that something happened with the powder adjustment that they didn't. I loaded these like a year and a half ago, so they're just sitting there too light or too low of a speed, so gonna significantly bump those up. I believe those are just 115 grain full metal jackets, and so they're just flying too light. The only gun that would predictably shoot them correctly was the P2000, which makes no sense to me whatsoever. Because
like, are we talking like 4-inch groups at 25 yards, 10-inch groups?
We are talking like 10-inch groups, unpredictable 10-inch groups at like 20 yards.
Wow.
Like some of them, and most of it's probably where you're running into a light enough load every few shots where doesn't have the velocity to stabilize.
How fast are they running? Have you chronoed them?
Well, here's the thing. Good
to hear that old Squib Nandez back.
Yeah, good news.
New year, old me.
I had this kind of dialed in, and then a few years ago, I let Nate Osborne borrow my chronograph, and he's only had it since November of 2023. So now it's about time that I receive this chronograph back and then use this chronograph to diagnose the velocity problems in which I'm having. Because what I don't want to have happen is I'm going to load some more, but I don't want anything to have happened to this powder. And I'm not sure if anything would have happened to this powder that was in the hopper. Like, it was in the hopper for maybe a year and a half without me loading into it.
Is that bad?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so. I mean, if it stays dry, cool and dry, right? Cool and dry, it's fine.
Yeah.
If it's in a garage and you get like moisture from coming off of your cars and stuff in the winter, if it's like that, yeah, maybe. But Utah's a pretty dry place, and powder's darn resilient in this area.
Yeah. So like, I'm just trying to sit there and think like the last thing I want to have happen.
I see her.
She does exist. I thought it was just a pillow.
No. Well, it is a pillow. I just went all out for the money. I just got I went to that Japanese website and I said, get me one of those Kotako girls or whatever like that, but just make sure it's walks, it talks, it minds.
Buys you front sights.
Yeah, buys me extra front sights, all those lovely things. Don't stare at me. And so anyway. I don't want to have bad powder, make another 1,000 rounds of these things, and then go take them to the chronograph and watch it spit 887 at me while I'm shooting these 115 grades. Because like I want.
What powder are you using?
It's tight group. Like last time, I remember this. You remember this old lore? Remember the lore of tight group? 4 grains of powder on a 124 grain bullet was the load. And then I started shooting.
4.0 is good to go. That was always the saying. 4.0 is good to go.
But then we'd go shoot it, and then we'd be like, this seems light. And so then it became like 4.2, 4.3. And then it was like 4.4 on a 124 grain would give me a very consistent like 1100, 1150. And like that's kind of where I wanted it to be.
That's a spicy meatball for 124 though.
Yeah, like
I think most of mine were for 4.2.
Yeah, 4.2, 4.3 would give you right around 1100 to 1125.
Yeah, a 4.0 on a 124 grain bullet. This is what Steve, using Tight Group, always gave me 133 power factor, and I don't know why I remember that. I just remember that just from history, and that was using my
Autism.
Glock 17 or something like that. Probably, yeah, it could be that.
Yeah.
Random ability to pull obscure data. Yeah, you never know.
Quick, what's this train?
Oh, that's the 440 out of DC.
Naturally.
You know what?
Duh.
That video of that kid who,
Dakota. Actually,
that kid who takes those videos in front of train stations, and as the train goes by, this train
that
gives you the
goofy
little
camera
history,
right in front
and
of
then
his
it
face.
drives by them and they're honking, and he's like overjoyed. I'm just like, that's a simpler time. That's a simpler time. Now I don't have to worry about him being overjoyed about now finding out that he's a woman or he's somewhere in between. So like I'm happy with that. But I am just the one thing I have noticed consistently over the years is that velocity, unless it's a very soft bullet, velocity equates generally to a better, more consistent accuracy in groups out of the pistols.
Yes.
And so, like,
but there's a point of diminishing returns.
there is a point of diminishing returns, but it's somewhere around 145 power factor. And that 135 to 140. Listen, 152. Don't sit there and shake your head like you're innocent in this.
Actually, it was 154.
Yeah, so
Ain't no bitch.
and so like that's I would rather have a slightly higher recoil and then have predictability to where the bullet is going to go. Like I would always rather have that trade-off. And so now I'm looking at I'll shoot the stuff as practice stuff. It runs, especially in the Beretta and the HKs. Like it runs all the live long. No issues with that. I just want to have consistent grouping out of my pistols, especially if I'm going to shoot irons for a year and see how that goes.
One thing you do have to remember with Tight Group is Tight Group has a very short head on it. It gets you up to power factor, but you start dumping more and more powder into it. It doesn't give you a consistent rate of return. It flatlines really quick, but the pressure spikes hard.
Yeah.
And so Tight Group is great for our sport because we're running sport loads. But the second that you, because I've tried it before, I've done the same thing where I'm like, how much more can I put in this and get it to work? And it's funny because it's like, like 127, 129, 130, 135, 136, 36.5. It just, it really flattens out. It's the craziest thing, but it absolutely does that. And so you may have to find a different powder.
Well, the hell with that
thing.
because I got 4 more pounds of this shit and this stuff's going to run. And so
fuck you, Robert.
My other option.
Yeah, that's like the bottom row right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's.
So my other option is this poor Beretta Brigadier is going to go through a little bit of a testing phase, which is we're going to shoot 4.7 to 4.8, and we're going to seat it a little closer. We're going to seat it a little closer. And if this gun stops...
Compact that powder.
Yeah, you want to, like, it. I'm going to name that ammunition pressure spike because that's what we're going to try to get out of here because I don't know
Why is it spicy?
how it's interacting with the lands and grooves, but I know that a Beretta M9 barrel, it likes a little velocity to it, and so we're going to try to get this stuff up and going. And that's probably the HK is probably shooting a 5-inch group at it with the stuff is probably because of their polygonal rifling. Probably helping the velocity spike up just a bit more to center it out, but it wasn't much better. It wasn't a good group. It was just a better group. Sorry, there's a better way of saying it.
Well, I can tell you this right now. Before you do anything, get that stupid chronograph back because that's going to be more valuable to you than just randomly dumping. Because I'm convinced that it's not dumping more powder into it isn't really the solution. There's something else at play. But you need to get that chronograph to give you more information.
Yeah.
Robert, the pressure is going to identify the crack in the barrel. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, if we don't shoot
solution will present itself very quickly.
if we don't shoot proof loads through it, how are we going to tell the structural integrity of the gun?
Yeah.
Tommy's going to be the one-man advocate in USPSA for major production scoring.
Hell yeah.
as the bullets tumble. That should count for 2. That should count for 2. Robert, you wanted to show us something beforehand. You have guns that you'll never shoot in another hand. Let's talk about it.
It's his wiener.
Why do you think I got the wide angle camera out? No, the tier 1 concealed holster finally came. It's that MSP that basically it's designed so that you can run a light, and you can put a light on anything just about. Like I tried it with my my CZ, and since the holster is based off the light itself, it just goes in there and works. It's clever. I mean, all credit to them. It's a clever design, and it seems to work really, really well. And so now I'm playing with the game of like, should I do like what Kevin and I were talking about last week, where I use the CZ with his tungsten lightweights in there just to get all the weight in that front end. Because I gotta tame the mighty 9mm recoil.
I think when you do something like, I don't know if you're used to not putting any input in the gun because the guns have been so heavy for so long for you, but I remember when I went to that Canic Rival and then I started shooting it, I literally had negative recoil where every time the gun, like the first shot accurate on the return, it would be, I would overdrive the gun and then fire it, in the lower Charlie or something like that. So you can have fun with that. It does not. Any advantage becomes a disadvantage the second that you don't train with it. And you try to expect it under pressure, because then you're just fishing for a sight and then overcompensating for the gun.
Well, I'm going to shoot this at that belt series match that we're doing for during these coming months with the MP, because I like the MP, and we'll get to this question later on. But I'm actually this year I'm going to actually like shoot some of these guns that I bought.
Lies.
No, I mean, only a little bit, but I mean, I'm going to shoot them. Yeah, I don't either.
This is like me saying that I'm going to try to shoot
I'll pitch
production.
Out at the last moment.
Try to shoot production for the whole year.
It's Sunday, Robert. You're not supposed to lie.
It's Monday somewhere.
So why not the CZP-10?
Because I like the MMP.
So like
I just like the MMP. I think it's a great gun, and as far as plastic guns go, I think it's a great gun. Maybe, I mean, with the series, I could actually shoot any gun that I wanted inside of that division. And so maybe I'll bring the P10 out. I actually don't like the little optic that's on there. I just need to get an adapter plate to change it out. I'll probably put a Delta Point, not a Delta Point, Vortex.
Just go take that 507 comp off that Prodigy. That Prodigy's never being shot.
I think Jared has that 507 comp.
Well, there's one of the optics.
I think you're who got it. We traded. You traded me a Vortex for that 507.
Oh, I have one.
Yeah,
but it's on another gun. It's on a 22 right now.
I don't particularly like the 507. Mostly just the dot. I do like the bigger dots, and I think the 507 could be really good if it just had a bigger dot. But that's very, very minor things.
Yep. No, I like the 507 because it gives you a great footprint on it, and it's very large, and it's very clear, and it's problem free.
Yeah, it really is. It's a great optic.
Would a 3.5 dot be somewhat better for me, or a 4, or getting closer to 5? Yeah, like I would like that slightly better, but yeah, the Vortex is great. It's just a matter of what ecosystem you're running on it, and since plate systems are slowly going the way of the dinosaur, and we're not seeing direct milled stuff from the factories. I mean, CZ's basically telling everybody the RMSC footprint, the EPS footprint is the footprint of the future. If they launch a Shadow 3 or something like that, that'll most likely be what they're doing. They've done it on the Shadow Carry. They've done it on the Nocturne. If they make another generation of the P10, it'll probably be something like that. So
if they do that, then the adapter plates that'll take you back up to a larger dot will be the answer to that.
What we used to do. Yeah.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, inside of this little world called USPSA and practical shooting, people want the larger window. If you're going to be doing the concealed carry, I totally understand that argument for something that's more in line with the frame. Makes perfect sense. But for our game, that larger window just allows more information.
Yep. So I'm curious about the P10. I would like to see it. I would like to see go out to the armory and take a rest and then shoot both of them just to see which one groups with the ammo. Because if you get an M&P that groups well, they're fantastic. If you don't get an M&P that groups well, it's a living hell.
Right.
And so that's one of those things that is immensely frustrating, is that when you rest them and you take a shot and then you see the 3 or 4 inch drift at 15 yards, and then you're just like, oh, I'm not an insane person. I can shoot and pull a trigger correctly.
That's really what killed me anytime with the MP, because like honestly, like aesthetics wise, function wise, everything wise, I really like the MMP. I have 2 complaints. One, it pinches my hand fat at the bottom sometimes when I slam a magazine in, just because my hand's too big, and so my palm overhangs just a hair, and so I've pinched the absolute fuck. Where I've had a purple line on the bottom of my palm before, and that I hate that. And then the accuracy is just one of the most infuriating things when you have it, like what Tom was talking about earlier. When you have your gun bagged and it's perfect, and you have a dot, especially, and you're holding it right there in the middle, and you pull the trigger, and then the bullet's just like, wow, what? Why is it over there? What? What's happening? And then you shoot it again, and then it's over on the right. Then you shoot it again, it's over there, and you're like, what the
What's causing that?
M&Ps are gay.
The M&P does not lock for a very long time, and they're
inherently not accurate. And like Tom was saying, sometimes you'll get ones that are accurate, and then they'll shoot them for a bit, and then they become not accurate.
Oh, really? Oh, that's depressing.
Well, the first generation, like they knew that this was a problem from the beginning. They had a slower twist rate and not a beefed up locking lug, and then they increased the twist rate on a Gen 2 barrel. This is their first generation gun. I literally had 3 different barrels for my Gen 1 M&P, four different barrels. Then they had a second iteration with a faster twist rate, and then they had a faster twist rate and a bigger locking lug. And then Apex came out, was like, listen, we need to like not only increase the locking lug on the top, we need to increase the pad surface on the bottom to make these things stay in lock just enough longer for the bullet to leave the barrel. That's the inherent problem with the M&P, is that it unlocks so fast that the bullet is still in the barrel. And so depending on velocity of the ammunition, that will cause the bullet to either be out of the barrel or be in the barrel, and like, so it's a very pressure sensitive pistol. And the other thing, what happens is like people like to run them with 15-pound or 13-pound recoil springs, and that has a very hard time on the system for keeping it in lock, is like relieving pressure from the spring that kind of keeps it in lock. So like my Apex barrel, lightning improvement, was it as good as everything? It basically put the pistol on par, and I didn't get the best accuracy out of that pistol till I used the Apex barrel and the 5-inch gun, and then I went to a 19-pound guide rod spring instead of the factory 16 or 17.
Well, and even those, you're probably talking maybe a 3-inch group at 25 yards.
Yeah,
maybe a 2-inch group.
You guys are just
Most
making
of
me
the
all
stock
depressed.
MPs are like 4, 5, 6, 8 inches at 25 yards, and I don't know. Like, we go shoot yours, see how it is. But that was one of the things that made me get rid of my M&P, was like, I'm at 10 yards, perfectly bagged, trying to get that perfect zero. Because I'm of the opinion, when you zero a pistol, I don't believe in close enough. I believe that there is a perfect combination of this twister and a perfect combination. There's one twist on here that's right. There's one twist on the vertical that's right. It's your job when you're zeroing to find that one click that's right with your ammo.
Mm-hmm.
And I just couldn't do it ever with the M&P, because it was always scooting around and all over the place, and it was infuriating. And I saw it on, and that was the Gen 2. That was the M&P 2.0.
Well, that was the frustrating thing, though, because like my
1.0, but
my 2.0 that I had that I sold to Brandon, I love that gun because for me it was accurate. It was insanely accurate, and I was extremely happy with it.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like starting to doubt myself a little bit because when I went and zeroed it, it zeroed great. It was fine.
Well, then yours might be fine.
I would say this. The when the original 2.0s came out, they were as accurate as like a third or fourth generation Glock. The differences that happened is that guns like the P10 and like the VP9 and the Walther and the Gen 5, those all became significantly better than the previous generation. And then this one other thing happened too is that we got the ability to perceive and zero better with dots going on the handguns. The iron sight days, like an iron sight Gen 2 M&P and M&P 2.0 was accurate enough for iron sights and on par with the current generation. As this generation's gone on, it is no longer that. The other thing that you have to remember with the M&P also is that like it fires from a completely tensioned pre-cocked striker. Like the Glock that striker has to be pulled back, so there's like some friction on the slide, and then fired, and that thing can stay in lock for a longer period of time. Like the M&P doesn't even deal with any backward pressure on being applied to the slide by cocking the striker. I mean, it is a very fast system, and there's a reason that Apex didn't go out of business or stop selling a product for like their barrels for the Gen 2s. So I would just recommend that. Like I love the M&P. Like I had two of them. Like I made Production Master with one. Like I really like that gun. Like ergonomically, that gun fits. The triggers with the Apex kits are as good as you can get. The sight radius is great. The accessories were good. And it was, pretty reliable when I kept to the factory parts. But the gun has one glaring issue, and it will plague you unless you sit there and see what the gun is actually doing.
This is ultimately telling me we're gonna use the CZ Shadow 2.
just group it. Just group it. If you group it,
No,
you'll figure it out.
I'm gonna run. I'll run out there tomorrow and I'll put a bunch more rounds through it and see what it tells me.
Well, and honestly, it's probably not going to be a problem for USPSA. It's not going to be an issue in USPSA shooting,
especially for indoors.
Yeah, we're never shooting at head boxes at 25 yards.
Right.
But it just depends on what you're trying to do. And my level of autism, if I can't get a gun to group, I kind of get real angry, and then I go and get rid of the gun.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, if the ammunition or the gun doesn't group with like good quality bonded ammunition, like that's a problem. So
sure, no,
like
for sure.
I'll just once a year I'll run down to like an indoor range, bring my rest, and I'll just go. I'll like look at the defensive ammo. I was like, give me a 50-round box of, Norma defensive loader, whatever. Whatever the cheapest bonded ammunition is for the grain I want and the velocity I want. And you just go sit there and go shoot it, and like every gun should be able to produce a relatively small 1.5 or 2-inch group from a rest. And like these aren't like fancy pistols; these are 9mm, $500, $600 service guns, and they're all able to do that with the optic. And so that's the standard. And it also kind of tells you about your ammunition. So that's what I learned this weekend, anyways.
There you go.
Jared?
Womp womp. I finally went to a match again. I went and shot LTD yesterday. That was fun.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and it kicked my ass later on in the night. Because basically, it's one of the reasons why I haven't been shooting a whole lot is because on a Saturday, if I want to go shoot a match, I have to wake up at 7 a.m. And then I go to bed the next day at 7 a.m. And so it's just a really long day.
Yeah.
So, because I got to go to work at 8 p.m. and then I go, and so it's just a long day. And so, at 4 a.m. last night, I was just dying. But LTD was a lot of fun.
Are you gonna keep the schedule into the new year?
Yeah, at least until April. We might change then, but we'll see. Right now, I'm still going to be on weekend graves for a while, and it's been fun. But I'm going to try to actually start going to the Slipsa matches on Fridays, because that's doable. That should be a lot more doable for me. but I need to start going to the matches again to actually get better. Yesterday was funny because I was like, oh man, I forgot how to do a lot of this stuff. I still did good, but I didn't. I think I got 4th place overall, first in open, and I think like everybody else in like the top 3 guys, I think they had like 100 alphas, maybe 20, 30 Charlies or whatever. I think I had like 60, 70 alphas and like 70 Charlies.
Raw
This
time
is
champ.
like hell yeah. Yeah, I beat most. Actually, no, I think Alistair still beat me on raw time, but I beat the other guys on raw time.
There you go.
And I had 2 mics, but whatever. But it was fun. I was shooting this new gun that I got, the Staccato HD 4.5. It is the sight block variant of the HD line that Robert has. But what I did was I sent the sight block, I sent the upper to Monsoon Tactical, and they cut the sight block into essentially an actual compensator. It's not like the barrel chunk port. It's an actual genuine compensator where they cut out the interior. See if we can focus.
Yeah.
But
they cut out the
they
interior
ported the
of
barrel
it,
as well.
and they port the barrel as well. And it's a soft shooting son of a bitch. Like this
Well,
thing
yeah,
shoots
because you're bleeding
great.
all the energy out
Well,
of it.
what's the top? Can I see the top again of the slide? So for people listening, they have a 3-port about 2.5 inches down the barrel, and then that goes farther down the barrel, and then at the end where the sight block would be, that's basically a chunk port, a 1-port compensator.
So what does that turn the barrel into? I mean, you're basically at that point like a 2.5-inch barrel.
No, I mean, it's a 4-inch barrel. It's a 4-inch barrel, and the ports, you actually really don't lose that much velocity from the ports on these. And the sight block isn't losing that much either. So from what I understand, it's not, the velocity isn't hit that bad. The really fun thing though is essentially it's a Staccato XC, but just slightly smaller, and it takes Glock mags, and it has all the upgrades from the HD line, which I like a lot. And it's been a lot of fun to shoot. Shooting this next to my Atlas Athena, this shot better than the Athena.
Wow.
So I sold the Athena, and this is going to be the main gun. I still have 2 other limited optics guns that I can use if I want to. I really need to shoot one more classifier. I need to shoot one more classifier in limited optics. I think I'm at a 84.78 in limited optics, like about to be a master. And so I just need to do one more classifier that's halfway decent, and I'll get an M and LO. But yeah, this gun's, it's been a lot of fun. It's been interesting, but I think
I'd like to shoot that. That looks like it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean it's nice. Honestly, it's surprisingly nice. It's that Series 80 still, so it's still the drop safe and all that stuff. It has all the drop safe parts. The trigger's actually still pretty good. It's not like a 2-3 pound Atlas trigger by any stretch, but it's crisp, and it's probably about 4.5, 5 pounds, and I'm fine with it. I've been really impressed with the gun. It has a RMR HD on it. I was debating between this and the SRO, and I liked this from an aesthetic standpoint. I thought this looked better than the SRO, and I was like, screw it. If this is going to be my nice gun, I'll make it nice. And so,
yeah,
I think this is going to be my main gun for a while.
I think
hopefully,
being a year and some change into the whole HD thing, which I kind of came back. I was like, we'll see how this thing will work or whatever like that. But honestly, in the realm of 2011s, it is the one to beat right now. Like it seems to be a gun that runs, a gun that's safe, and believe it or not, reasonably priced.
Well, and especially again with the cop discount when they knock off $800. I mean, this gun, I think the gun itself was like $2,000, maybe like I think it was like 1,900 or something.
Yeah.
It was relatively very cheap. And
Yeah.
then to do the porting and the comp milling, I think that was like 300, $400. And so I think I'm total, like with taxes, I'm like less than 25 into this for basically a Staccato XC. I'm like, that's pretty
pretty
good.
reasonable, honestly.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
not bad at all.
the other thing that's kind of reasonable that I handled at Cabela's was the 2K, the Kimber 2K, and it's just like it's like this is a very nice and reasonable package, and I was just sitting there looking at it, I was like, this gun, like it was like Target model, so it came with their plate that had the adjustable factory sights and the Dawson fiber and like the extended magazine well and like everything, and it's like this is $2,000 at Cabela's, which means it's $1,700 everywhere else in the world, but like it's effectively nice gun, and like it seems like those two guns seem to be ruling the market. But I think everyone gets a little bit more peace of mind and a lot more mileage out of their gun if they sit there and spend the extra money and get the Staccato VHD, because it's like the era of expensive magazines and guns that really need to be tuned a whole lot kind of seems to be fading away. And in an era now where like the HD competitors are going to be $5,000, so like why do that?
No, for sure. There's no reason. I mean, that's the nicest thing that you've seen with all the automation and things that have kind of just been coming in, is CNC and everything like that has just made these guns just work substantially
the tolerances
better.
are so tight now.
Yeah,
that
you don't
can
have
just
to
print it out.
You don't have to have some dude, 60-year-old dude in the back room who's doing all the work because he's the smartest man in the room because he's been doing it for 20 years, kind of thing.
Yeah, and people have figured out the where the tolerances have to be tight and where the tolerances don't have to be tight, because I think that's one of the things we're going to learn with all these companies adopting Glock magazines, is that Glock's pretty smart, and they realize the tolerances that they would have to put in their grips, and I think Staccato has done that as well, because the whole point of the generations of the Glock magazines is like, oh, these things swell, and we have to put steel inserts in them, and then once they're fully loaded, they still kind of swell. And so, like, Glock knows how much slop goes into that mag well, and Staccato knows that, and as more and more companies adopt this, they're going to realize, like, very, very tight tolerances on everything is not going to be the best plan.
That's why you have Mechar mags. All made of steel.
Yeah, would seem to have an over-insertion problem on lots of the guns that they go into, which is not great either.
The Glock Mechar mags have been working actually great. That's what I shot all yesterday. I got Dawson Precision extended base pads on them. Mm-hmm. They were doing great.
Yeah.
I had 0 malfunctions yesterday. I'm going to try to shoot Slipsas on Friday. And LTD actually has a big steel match. They do it all. It's almost kind of like Barry Steel Open.
Yeah, it's the end of the month, right?
Yeah, every fifth Saturday they'll do a WPPC, Wasatch Pins and Pigeons Club. I don't know. But it's a fun match, and so I already signed up for that, and then I needed a
just make sure you bring enough like material so that when you get hit by all the frag that seems to come back off of those things 90% of the time, you'll be A-okay.
It will be great. The new range up there is actually really nice. I've been really impressed. They made it a lot bigger. There's a lot more room. What's it called? The black like rocks that they have up there now. It drains really well.
Like lava rock or something like that?
It's not lava rock. It's like broken concrete or something. I can't remember the word that they used for it. But it's nice. It's all nice, and they have 6 bays now on the right side of the range, so you don't have to walk across the range with all the FUDs on the olds. So you don't have to worry about any of that. So
with your foamies in and listening to someone torch off a 300 Win Mag. Yeah. No, it's great. It's great.
And so LTD was fun. And yeah, it's a good time.
I don't know why you're going slow. you're gonna get caught in the camera anyway.
If she goes slow, we can't see.
She's
her.
like sneaking out of the bedroom, like she's gonna make a break for it.
She's like that dude in
Get back in there, Elizabeth Smart.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
All right, go.
Moving so slow, you can't see me.
Run,
Paige, run!
And now the dog's barking because probably somebody's at the door. Anyways, okay, cool. Well, if you would like to go get the door, do it in style. Head over to Dominate Defense or American Operator Gear. Get the best belts, tactical belts, competition belts in the industry. Where do I got over here? There you go. Here's my do-it-all with my S-Tax. There you go. It's fantastic. Any magazine can go on these pouches. And this thing can take almost any holster with an ELS, and it's a fantastic belt setup. Check them out. Use promo code PARA10. Save 10% off your order. Also, check out Rune Tactical, where you can get a +1, like I have in a Beretta kit. A +1 for more insurance. It's that insurance. We've all had that stage where we fire the last round, and then we go, that was a miss, and then we realize we're at slide lock, and then you just take the L because it's just going to.
That's why you swapped your knife.
Yeah, just transition to the knife and throw the knife. But check out Rune Tactical. Magazine extension kits, followers, springs. Check them out. Use promo code PARA10. Save 10% off your order. And check out W74 guide rods, where you can add some more weight to certain parts of your gun for balance, lower recoil, or just because you want to reach that weight limit. Tungsten batteries, guide rod springs. Check them out. W74 guide rods. Use promo code PARA10. Save 10% off your order. Telegram. It's a messaging service. Snap. You can get into all sorts of trouble and stay out of all sorts of trouble. It's up to you. Search PARAcast chat, and then you can find us and you can ask us a question. We'll do our best to answer it.
All right. From Preston. Let's see. I was listening to the Zermatt episode of the podcast the other day. And when you guys were talking about the USPSA divisions and LOCO being similar and maybe worth combining, I agree with you that limited capacity is not the answer for CO, but what if CO became a concealed division? Meaning any CO LO gun is legal, but it must be shot from full concealment. LO stays exactly as it is. Then you have a division for concealed shooters and a division for race gunners. What are your thoughts?
You could do that.
You could do that.
My only thing is the whole like belt series, like the whole concealed series. It's nice and it's fun, and I think it works best as a fun thing that friends are doing amongst friends. And once you start doing this is the actual competitive division, then you have people doing weird shit. Then you have the fishing vest. Then you have all the gamer stuff. Then it takes the actual it's supposed to be a concealed carry, guys. You're not concealed carrying that Shadow 2, Robert. You son of a bitch. And
hey, I was gonna do an M&P. You made me feel bad. And now, damn it!
If only you had another gun to go to.
I might, but on principle, I'm gonna go back to the bread and butter.
But on principle, I want to win, and I'm gonna do everything.
There's no way in hell. Jory
problem.
and Zach are showing up. I'm not winning shit.
That's the problem, though. Is like once it becomes, I think the concealed carry divisions, I think it's best done as like friends, because once it becomes an official division, then you have people butting in, and then you have people using, this is my Infinity, I can still carry this. And it's like, well, no, you don't, and blah blah blah. Then people get mad, and so it's an option. I think there's a way to do that. I think it would be an interesting idea to have the carry optics actually be a quote unquote carry division, but I think you would have to introduce a whole slew of new rules that USPSA just doesn't have in place right now, and I think that would be the biggest hurdle. Well, if that makes any sense.
This is the problem that IDPA ran into: is once you announce something as concealed, there's a lot of subjectivity that goes into that, and then we have rules where it's just like, all right, well, you there, stand there, put your arms out, Right. Can I see that? Well, then, is it really concealed if you're with your 21 round or 22 round magazine that you're now using in your concealed division? If that's printing or if that's going to get caught up, if we want to make a difference in them, you want to have difference in equipment, or difference in strategy of how people prosecute the stages. And how you change strategy is by round restrictions, and like this sounds how would I say this? It sounds very bitch-tastic that people cannot prosecute stages with 15 rounds in the damn gun, and that this would be a bridge too far. It's like 15 rounds to shoot a stage. Maybe that's still one reload or another reload, but like we can't do this. And the other part too, it's like the guns that are in carry optics do not represent the name of carry optics very well.
Carry optics was a poor choice in naming. I mean, call it whatever you want. The division with a dot on it. I don't care. Carry optics was just a naming choice, and we can look at it and be like, okay, well, this is wrong. But at the same time, anytime you put a timer on something, inevitably you will necessarily destroy any of the tactical carry optics world of it. And in my opinion, I think the belt series and all that stuff that you see, right, that thing is popular because there's money behind it. And the second that the money goes away, everybody's going to go right back to the thing that they did in the first place.
Just like it's
literally, money and it's cool.
That's literally why people are doing it.
It's 10 years ago with Walther Pistols. Walther Pistols had their little blue Walther program. Everyone bought a PPQ because it's like, man, if I take first place marksman at the Arizona IDPA championship, I could get a $500 check. And that's
exactly what I was. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about when I made that statement. I mean, we've been around this thing long enough to have seen that this is nothing new. I mean, that people come in and they financially support something, and then they decide it's no longer worth it. I'm not getting the ROI I want, and they move on. Yeah, and we're all grateful that they came, but at the end of the day, they're gone.
I know if you're like a super high-end shooter and like you're top 5 or top 10 in nationals every year, you want all the heat, not to run and hide and go do something else. Like I totally behind that like idea. Like you want to compete against the best. You're a champion. Other people want money, and like if every once in a while in this sport, if somebody wants to drop a loot case, and you get to keep that DLC after the game, guess what you're gonna do? Like. If somebody literally gets to justify their shooting expense once a year by picking up 10 grand by doing something, then like they're obviously that's going to extend past the match. Like I'm very happy. Like I would rather. Do I want to? Well, I can ask you guys. Do you guys want to win your division, or do you want to pick up a $3,000 rifle at the end of a match?
I'll take the rifle.
It's.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean,
yeah,
it's just, but I mean, I think that's what we do, right? I mean, it's the fun aspect of like, because we're all doing this, we're having a great time, and then somebody says, hey, if you win, you'll get a $3,000 rifle. I'd be like, I'm willing to do that. Let's give that a go.
Well, and the fact is
even this thing we're doing the next 5 months, I'm not going to win. I'm not. I know who I am, and I know the people that are competing. But I'm going to be there. We're going to have fun. We'll have some random prizes. Maybe I could win a random prize. But I think it's going to be absolutely cool, and it's something different because the reality is, like, for me, shooting is a CZ Shadow 2. It's less, I mean, it is, I buy these guns and then I never use them because shooting is about a CZ Shadow 2. Well, that's where I am as a gun owner right now.
Most questions and the most things that we care about, talk about, are gear centric. And when you break
that's the autism.
Well, yeah, but when you break that down, like all the gear centric talk is just code for currency or money. Like the gear costs a certain amount of money. So what are we interested in? For most people that are in the sport, you know, they are interested in getting gear and using that gear, which costs money, and so like people are interested in floating over there, and like it also gives a place, not for like, for less of a better term, like people to kind of not so much hide, but to try different things without the exacting pressure of the match on them, because if things don't go wrong, they can be like, well, I've been practicing with this, I'm learning things,
it's like beating a girl.
Yeah,
you know. You can't win, so it's fine.
Yeah, like Floyd Mayweather says, always be practicing. Always be practicing. getting those slips, getting those punches, and slipping them punches. Yeah.
For
Just to touch on the subject, the carry stuff is cool. Carry optics, I would like to see a difference in the divisions, and that would be having had experience shooting lower cap divisions. It is a better game, and I think there's more discussions about not lowering those divisions by people who never shot low caps.
I will make this comment. If USPSA introduced a concealed carry division, it would kill IDPA within 12 months.
Correct.
It'd be gone. Yeah, IDPA would be dead. Because
No.
Oh, absolutely it would. Absolutely.
It's not
would.
going to change.
Well, it would.
It will. I think it will because you're taking away the whole. IDPA holds this one card of the concealed carry lifestyle. Stages are boring. The matches are they're objectively not great. And so if somebody says, "Hey, we're going to do the exact same thing, concealed carry, but we're not going to have the stupid scoring and all that stuff,"
that's like saying what
IDPA would still be there in Arkansas, but
it's going to be there where
the dieback would be horrible.
Where there are clubs there, because all the clubs that are around IDPA could be
it's just
something
whether
else,
on
but
who's used to the rule set.
Yeah, they're still going to be there. But would it be a more successful than IDPA? Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Or none.
I would agree with that. But I think the people that are already doing IDPA will continue to do IDPA just because it's what they know, it's the game they know, it's the rule set they know, and so they don't like shooting USPS. Most of the IDPA shooters do not like USPSA because USPSA is too quote-unquote serious and too quote-unquote gamey. And the big problem is you have some people in the USPSA world that take it way too seriously, and I'm sure there are those in IDPA who also do that. But a lot of the IDPA guys are the tactical quote-unquote Timmies, and they like that more than USPSA because they think USPSA is a game. And even if USPSA introduced a carry division where it's made for carry guns and it's made for Glock 26s and 19s and SIG P365s, I think you're still going to have the stigma of USPSA is the quote-unquote competition gamer game, not tactical. And that's what IDPA, again, lots of air quotes being thrown around here, is IDPA is it's for a different crowd, regardless of the rule set.
Well, the problem is that crowd isn't, they're not attracting new people.
True.
IDPA is stagnating horribly, and that makes me sad because I started in IDPA and I like it, but it's the entire premise of the game, it just doesn't transfer over to real life in any demonstrable way, which is not to say that USPSA does either.
All shooting skills that promote accuracy and speed all help in real life. That's all. There are many tests that you can perform in IDPA that are difficult for USPSA shooters. They're just much more difficult for the IDPA shooters who are shooting them in the first place because of a skill gap. But the one thing about having a concealed carry division in USPSA is I do not trust them within the first 2 years not to completely adulterate it, change everything, and make it a blodge kind of smearing of other divisions that are in the sport. They will completely do it. Once some product comes out or something's like, oh, wow, look at this. It's the P365 steel frame. Well, we can't be expected to sit there and weigh everything. And so the new weight limit for the concealed carry division is 55 ounces. It's still more carryable than the 60-ounce divisions, but it's now 50 ounces. And so, it's what's going to happen. And it's just like, what is that? A bra? Well, he is wearing a shirt on the upper part of his body, so that does count as concealed carry. This is what's going to happen with it.
Right.
It's beautiful.
From Rory, what age can you start bringing your son or daughter to competitions to participate? Asking for a friend, or in his case, his mini-me.
Safely carry and handle a gun. I would say sober enough in the mind. So you could probably be 10, 13, or whatever. But the one thing is hand strength to handle the firearm. That's where you really get into problems when kids, anytime you have range issues or safety issues, is when people who have the firearms do not have the strength to manipulate the gun in a way that could be safe. Like, hand a full-size pistol to a girl or whatever that you know, and then like once they start struggling with the side, it'll come into the body. The muzzle will start dipping over to the side as they try to recruit more and more muscles to like rack the slide, or
weird shit starts happening.
Weird stuff starts happening, and then like being conscious of the muzzle. And so it's that's what I would say, comprehending the rules and having enough upper body strength, because they can definitely comprehend the rules but not have the strength to manipulate whatever gun that they're using.
From Ron, I shoot USPSA. How should I modify my training to get ready for the different tactics of Jared's Not a Cop match?
Take tape, and you're going to put them over your sights. Not occlusion. Front and back.
Just take the optic and just take it off, and then run around and just point shoot everything.
Just go as fast as possible. And the funny thing is it actually will show you a lot of times you can go a lot faster than what you think you can.
Yep.
And that would be my biggest suggestion for people. And that's actually one of the reasons why I like the cop match so much. The Not a Cop for USPSA shooters is it's a chance for them to really step on the gas and see, wait, how fast can I go? And for a lot of people, they find out I can go a lot faster than what I think I can. And then some people just fall on their ass and go way too fast and spaz out and crash and burn and have 5 mics on a stage. And that's also a learning experience. But it's just a question of going fast. And so that's the only thing you want to change, which really isn't changing that much.
The entire match is essentially the predictive kind of doubles drill over and over again. And like lots of times you'll see like 2 alphas or like an alpha and a close Charlie, and very rarely will you see the delta, unless you're really trying to spray an array down. Then you can run into those types of problems. But the most problems that people run into is shooting targets and then not realizing that the gun is damn near out of ammunition by the time they get to the end of the stage. And that seems to be a big problem, because like people are shooting the big sticks and they're like double tapping everything. Then they go to war with 3 or 4 shots on a piece of steel because they haven't been aiming the whole time. And then they get to the last 2 arrays.
Correct.
And then it goes click, and then you get this bad boy, and then you're just like, oh no, and then you gotta load the thing. So that's what happens.
From Eric, what's your prediction bingo card for the organization in 2026?
They refuse to do whatever a judge orders them to do, and then we're all shooting PCSL.
I'm just waiting for another area director to quit. And then the question is like, well, 1 area director, 2 area directors, 3, 4.
That brings up the next question from Andy. Will the USPSA board make it through 2026 without a director resigning or getting booted?
If they do, that would be pleasantly surprising.
It would be nice, and I would take a resign or being removed without the rules kind of like without the DNROI having something to do with it. Like that, like the fact that we have this house that's supposed to be just of like rule setting for equipment and pursuing the game, which somehow has a bigger representation over on this side of the house for some reason. Like I would like that not to be a thing. I would like them to be a non-equal and separate part of the whole thing.
Well, that's the funny thing of the whole situation is like DNRI. I mean, they have a keen grasp of the rule book, but they fundamentally don't even understand like the English language. I mean, and you saw that when they tried to redefine what a rifle was with the Flex Raider, and you saw all of the RMIs line up behind DNROI and say, we agree. This rifle that is legally a rifle is not a rifle. And it took the Area 3 director to be like, you guys are idiots.
You got to understand where they were coming from. You got to understand where they were coming from. They didn't like it.
Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's fundamentally it. Troy didn't like it.
That's a solid explanation, though. Honestly, I would actually have more respect for them if they came out and they said, "Hey, can we do this?" And they say, "No." Why not? I'm like, because that's gay. And everybody's like, "Huh? How do you fight that?"
Yeah, like if it was like we're not into that and we don't think it fits the sport, and that's our reasoning, and so we're not going to do it. But the whole like
it's not a rifle.
It's not a rifle.
But it is. It says I have literally a signed document from the government that I paid $200 for that says this is in fact a rifle.
Yeah, but that was even better. Just because the government recognizes it a rifle doesn't mean that we recognize it as a rifle. What the fuck does that mean?
Well, does it fit the definitions of a rifle? And we're going to play a whole new game of this because Form 1s, everybody, they're now free. And so what's going to happen is we're going to find all sorts of concoctions that people do not agree are rifles. But guess what? They're going to be showing up. Hey, would you like to win PCC with a Glock 17? Try it. Guess what? Because that thing just became a rifle. What does it need to stock? All right, well, we can work something out. But like all this stuff is going to start happening over and over again. We're going to see a hodgepodge of stuff because now all it is a 35-minute trip on a government website, and guess what? It's now a rifle. So.
Right. I don't know. I'm very, very happy that Flux won that one. That Ben won that because it pushed the board into acting and making actually pushing back on DNRI on the rules. And I think that's good. I think that's healthy. I actually think that Troy, personality aside, right? Troy has a lot of value to the organization because he's been there so long that he can actually tell you, hey, this is why this rule exists. This is why we did this in the past. That's really valuable. I mean, like I said, take the personality out of it. Somebody that is actually a legit historian for the organization, especially one that only is like 2.5 to 3 years old, that's really, really useful. And he doesn't get that credit that he deserves. Jake actually is the same way. They've been around for so long that they just understand things. There's good and bad to that, obviously, but it sure is nice to have somebody that's like, here's why we do this.
Yeah.
It is nice, and it makes sense to learn from the past.
But I would agree with that. It's just it's hard to have that perspective when most controversies that come out of the organization don't involve the same names.
They called you racist, but they never called you wrong. From Dave Blanton, how many times will Tom change guns this year?
Probably 3, maybe 3.
3?
Maybe 3. If it's the same model, it should not count. A man's allowed a backup. And
that's why I have 5 CZs.
I have an extra front sight. What am I supposed to do? Not use it? Return it for the $40?
What is the over-under on USPSA flirting with a provisional open minor division?
Very strong.
Why?
Why would they flirt with a provisional open minor division? Because there's compensated 2011s and compensated pistols out the yin-yang. And they see that those divisions will fill up with shooters if they give them the space. Like LO, we have more shooters in USPSA, and a lot of that has to do with LO.
Just be a man and shoot your open minor and open. That's what I've done for years.
Yeah.
I was one of the hardest things is to get A class and shooting open minor.
Yeah, but like people could shoot open minor with their non-compensated 2011s, and they decided not to because that's where they fit in, and they chose not to do that. And people could shoot 15 rounds CO, and they don't want to do that. They're going to have an open, like you have Walther that has a line of factory compensated pistols. You have Springfield that has a line of factory compensated pistols. You have Beretta that has a line of factory compensated pistols. All these things are out there with dots and compensators, but you know what they all have in common? They shoot 9mm. And like just as we've kind of said goodbye to limited and major, I think we're going to start seeing that go away somewhat with open. But they're not going to push out open. They're just going to create a new division. They're not afraid of creating new divisions.
I would rather, instead of them trying to create a new division for open minor, I would rather them just say, if you are shooting open, you get major scoring. That's it. And get rid of the actual like power factor rules and just drop it down and say it has to be 125 power factor for whatever. If you're shooting open, you get major scoring, and so they can change that. And then the guys shooting their Springfield Echelon with their chunk ports could still compete and still be competitive. But I think I would rather them do that than create a new open minor division. I think just having open be all major scoring would be a lot of fun.
No, yeah. I don't see USPSA. If anything, this year I see USPSA basically just kind of like consolidating and just saying, these are the divisions we have, and we're just going to sit on them. Because I think generally one of the biggest complaints people have is not so much of, can I have my, my special bougie particular kink of a division? It's, would you stop adding divisions and watering the sport down?
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the biggest frustration with a lot of people, and that's kind of the argument with LOCO right now. Is it's like it's the same damn thing. Why do we create two different things?
Yet everyone here on this podcast has an LO gun. Weird.
Yeah, it's my CO gun.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like people have LO guns, like, and they're willing to go play in that. They're willing to go play in that division. Everybody has their principles until they have an excuse to go buy another gun, and then it's just like, oh, I can get a PCC. Oh, well, I need an LO gun. Well, I could get this gun, and then this could double as that or whatever. And like,
well, I mean, we have to remember that Limited Optics Nationals was won by a CZ.
Yeah,
it was read by Adam Grimm, right? And he was shooting a Shadow 2.
Yeah, but there's still a bunch of people participating in LO. Like,
no, of course there is, but I just don't see people. I don't see this groundswell movement to create the next division. I think people, by and large, are saying, you know what? Why don't we stop doing the categories instead of having, like high lady, high senior, high law enforcement? Get rid of all of them. In fact, why don't we just kind of like consolidate all these divisions? Let's have like optics and irons, so like that. People are just tired of this constant expansion of the divisions, which is functionally allowing people to chase these weird bougie things. That's my opinion. I could be wrong on it, but that's kind of what I'm hearing.
Oh, that's what people say.
I agree with you to an extent.
I agree with you on that. What people say.
Well, my big thing is like when you go to the state match, go to the area match, go to whatever big match where they actually have all the awards and shit. You see how many goddamn trophies there are just from a match director standpoint?
It's a pain.
I mean, I spend a lot of money on my trophies and I only buy fucking 6. I buy 6, maybe 9 trophies, and that's a good chunk of change when you're doing 20, 30, 40 bucks per trophy. And then how many trophies did we have at state last year?
Oh, it takes up 2 of those long tables, right?
Yep.
And they're all stacked front to back. And it's literally everybody's kink division. Like, oh, I'm the high lady in single stack. And it's like, and honestly, cool. Awesome for you. I'm very happy for you. And I'm very much supportive in like recognizing the youth and things like that. I think we should always have that. But at the same time, you can't deny a lot of money. Like, because like the majority of money always goes to staff. Staff is like 80% of all the money that gets spent in matches, especially like the bigger matches. But so much money goes into these little plastic trophies that a lot of people just kind of chuck.
Yeah, well,
it's a lot of money going away.
Yeah.
There has never been divisional consolidation. It's not going
I
to
know.
happen. There's never going to be. But how many divisions do we get? We get all the divisions. And since I've started shooting the sport, we've gotten CO, LO, PCC, and then we've had changes to CO. We've had changes to production. We've had changes to
L10.
L10. Like we have had.
Well, honestly, every single division has had changes, right? Except for open, which is functionally, I like open the way it is because I'll never shoot it. It's not my thing, but I love that the innovation in firearms comes from open. To me, like open is the F1, the top fuel dragster kind of cars. All the cool, innovative things in firearm technology comes from open. And I love that they have that place in the world. And so I don't want to get rid of that. I think there's always a place for that level of innovation and coolness.
Yeah, but the real money that's being thrown into innovation is service type pistols with maximum functions and features.
Sort of. You're not wrong, Tommy, but at the same time, I've always said this for the longest time that USPSA does not move the needle when it comes to firearms sales and stuff like that. We don't matter. But what USPSA does better than anybody else is we proof technologies. Red dots work today because of what USPSA and practical shooting did to them. We show that these things just cannot handle the abuse on these slide ride plastic guns. And so the companies finally had enough test data to go back and be like, oh, hey, if we actually weld these things together, maybe it'll work. That's what we bring to the table, and I'm proud of that. I really like that we do that.
Yeah.
But we'll never move the needle in it. I mean, in terms of like
we're the R&D division.
Yeah. I mean, Glock is always going to be awesome, and Smith & Wesson, all these companies, they don't care about us. I mean, in that factor, in terms of moving sales, we just don't do it.
I firmly believe that we've entered the era of that the compensator is mainstream. And so
I agree. I agree. You're seeing them so many places now. It's crazy.
Every major model of a polymer striker-fired firearm comes with a port model.
Yeah.
And so it's going to happen. They're going to squeeze in, and we're going to start using them. And then that will literally take the CEO people and move them over there.
IDPA actually has a division. I can't remember what it is, but you can actually use comps in it.
I mean, Kerry, I'll use comps.
Oh, is it? Yeah, Blanton was talking about it, and I'm like, that's
an IDPA.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. I mean, it's time. It's just there's too many of them. It's time. It's time for it to happen. Do I want more watered down? Nope. But we're never going to get consolidation, and it's going to happen.
I agree. Let's see. Also from Dave, how many guns will Robert buy this year because they were a good deal and then never shoot them? I really, really hate you for how true that question actually ends up being.
I'll just be happy if he groups half of them.
Again, I really hate you for how true that statement is 9 times out of 10.
Fuck you.
I actually... I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I always do these are the things I want to accomplish in 2026 kind of thing. It's the same thing. I know it is, but it's just how my brain processes it. But I actually did write down, it's like, don't buy any new guns this year. And I will have you know, as of January 4th, I am doing good.
Yeah,
January 5th might change.
Reject consumerism. We all have more pistols than we'll ever shoot out in a lifetime. It's time to start using them.
But that's the weird thing about it, though. It's like, I mean, I can't remember who was his name I was talking to, but it was just like when I got into practical shooting and stuff like this, like I was buying every gun under the sun, and as it's gone on, I look at these firearms of like, can I compete with this, and like, would I compete with this? And I look at it from that perspective, and it's like I've become less of a gun guy, and as I am more of like, I'm going to shoot USPSA. I'm going to get the tool to do that with. And and I still it's not like I'm anti-gun. I'm not in that world. It's just like, I like this game so much that I want to get the things that I can use in that game. And so, having said that, I really hope this M&P works. You kind of, let the air out of my balloon a little bit, because I like the M&P. I love the shield. I think it's a great gun. it makes me sad that I know you're right. I mean,
I like
the
McDonald's
MMPs
too.
and
That doesn't
quality, they're
mean that
not.
it doesn't mean I'm not
Yeah,
going to take a
yeah,
shit 3 hours
exactly.
later. Like it's
But if I can get it to work and it's going to work great for me, that'll make me happy. I'll be a happy person because I've always liked them. I think they're great guns.
well, everyone makes a barrel for him, so you'll be able to fix that problem.
Right. All right. Will Jared get a tattoo of a Pokemon card this year?
It would be a Magic card, probably not a Pokemon,
He'll be one of the.
but tempting.
He's super into the Avatar Magic cards now. That's the big.
No.
Yeah, that's the big thing now. You got to get Avatar
I-
ones. You
Yeah,
gotta get,
I never
Yeah, but
saw
the
that.
Avatar ones are dumb.
Never saw that movie when it first came out, and apparently there's a remake or a version 2 of it or something like that.
we're talking about Avatar: The Last Airbender.
I don't even know what
That's
is.
a Nickelodeon
The little-
series of high quality.
Yeah. It's a kid with a blue arrow on his head.
Yeah. They called
That's
it
just weird.
They called it The Last
Not the blue
Airbender for
people.
the movie, and M. Night Shyamalan destroyed it. It was completely terrible. It was a travesty to every kid everywhere. And then
Doesn't he destroy everything he ever does? I think the only thing he ever did was that Bruce Willis movie where he was like the ghost or whatever.
The Sixth Sense? Well,
Die Hard?
Way to ruin the
No,
ending.
don't. Yeah. Die Hard is a great
One of
movie.
the biggest plot twists in
One of
all
the
cinema
greatest
history.
movies of all
He's just
time.
throwing it out there. All right, is that it?
It is for now.
All right. Well, thanks for downloading. Thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing. We appreciate all that you guys do for us. We appreciate the questions and the involvement. You can check out a video version of this thing on YouTube. Just search PARAcast Firearms Podcast. You'll see our faces and see exactly what we're talking about and see us screwing around with guns. And maybe secretly you can see people who make appearances while trying also not to make appearances on the show. And
She's moving slow.
Yeah,
You can't see her.
she's throwing the
She's
ball.
army crawling.
Yeah, she's going to just pop up right behind me. Oh, she waits to come down the stairs when I put my arms up. So anyway, thanks for all that. Thanks for all that you guys do. For Robert Wyatt and Jared Stepp, I'm Tom Nelson, bidding you peace, love, and soul as we depart into the open waters of the Sea of Life on a little tugboat we like to call the Paracast.
Good night, everybody.
Doot doot.
Jared contracts pink eye from playing with his gun and then rubbing it on his face.
I don't think I put my gun in the same place you put your gun.
Ugh.
Then you're not trying.